Yeah.
Amy can tell you how to make a, yeah, because I don't make it.
Might as well call. Forecast.
Okay.
Okay. No public, so no public comment.
Or we, I can,
And-
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yes. And speaking of minutes, they were released minutes ago.
Yeah, I do apologize for that. I actually lost them. I had a panic attack and I realized I saved them under Peter's nomenclature instead of mine, so they were not. And I finally found them. And I resaved them under my saving process.
I went to my office 15 minutes ago, said, grab minutes. And I looked, I couldn't find them, and then I went on my email real quick. Well, there they are. I couldn't find them.
100%.
Yeah, I was looking a couple of days ago and I thought I lost them.
You know,
Well, yes, feel free to shoot me a note if I mean, I kept thinking about it and then I would go look for them and have a minor panic attack that I lost them. Deleted them and.
But I was playing the odds. I figured it's more likely I lost. And I read them and I'm okay with them.
The other thing I saw was under number 3, set the ground rules.
Oh, yes, okay, or rules. Yes, I will. Is that?
Move to accept the minutes as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Does anybody have the copy of?
Oh,
Because I was.
yeah, you want to read it?
Thank you. Well, no, I wasn't, I just didn't, I wasn't home. I didn't see it. That's okay.
Well, I actually did two things. And we'll start with the one you guys all asked me to do. Good.
David's still on the board, right? Rosen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
I just made 10.
Okay, well, we can potentially save them for it. You know what?
Oh, I'm sure they're gonna get it. But I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Order is a question, I'd switch the last one, the one second to last.
Yes.
Okay. I would feel that this is the time to focus on any and all details,
Yeah.
because I'm only gonna have one more chance to fix it.
Yep. Just add question marks.
Yeah, no, number
Yeah,
2 and
Yeah,
5.
yeah, and I agree with Matthew.
The next to last one should be last,
Yeah.
Yes,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like.
Well, I guess the unsafe one was because it was an afterthought.
So, on the unsafe one, I would say, what, if anything, makes you feel unsafe about the current location of the highway garage?
Or
Instead of what's here.
what, if anything, do you think is a safety issue?
Right,
Yeah, I
something,
like the
Rather
word
than take.
safety rather than the word unsafe.
yeah, yeah.
So.
What, if anything, do you think is a safety issue about the current location of the highway garage?
I like how you worded the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Both halves? Because I was thinking everything before the comma could actually go away.
I,
No,
I like
think
that
that's-
example.
I think that should be there.
that's,
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
what if anything do you think,
do you feel?
feel?
Yes. Definitely.
is a safety issue.
Is a safety issue.
It's a good leading question.
With the current site. Okay,
I'm not sure I like, what are your concerns about the tax impact?
Do you have it?
My concern about the tax impact is it'll go up.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I think it's a question that needs to be asked, so how do we word it in
Yeah,
such
it's a
way that
wording,
more
it's a
palatable?
wording thing rather than
Mhm.
not addressed.
So when you think about it, there really, I mean, it opens up a discussion because there really is no tax impact. Because we've got $300,000 sitting that's gonna be returned to the town for moving the highway department to Skodini and all which is.
right, and if they pick option one, that $300,000 goes into everything else.
Right,
Well,
So there is a tax impact.
No, the general fund, yeah, but then the general fund is, what happens is the impact, the tax impact is defined by what's called the unreserved fund balance. And that is used every single year to reduce and lower, and is based on how much money we have beyond our operating needs. And we have a massive amount of money, and this would be another good $300,000, which means it reduces the tax impact. It has a very significant role. Every single year on the BAC, that's what they discussed. This year, 2 years ago, they took $110,000 out of the unreserved fund balance, leftover cash, and reduced the tax impact back to 40,000. I'm just saying.
They try to
Could-
leave a good amount. They don't, they try to dream.
We always have, I mean, not only that, but
Right, but there is, and that's, in my opinion, a paperwork thing. The reality is, there's $300,000 sitting there. If it's spent on this, it's spent. If it isn't spent on this, and people get taxed for other stuff. If it isn't spent, that $300,000 goes to offsetting taxes.
the point is that it would open up a good conversation. That's-
Yeah, I-
That's why I think it's a good idea to be discussing. It would be a nice way to inform.
Well, I think the concern is worded
So.
of that
Yeah,
question, and I'm not,
what is your?
you know,
Tax.
thrilled, I'm not thrilled about it.
yeah.
But even if they chose option four with $300,000 there, the tax impact would not be significant.
Yeah, but
Well, I think it.
so if they choose, here's my point, if they choose option four, and it's $400,000, they have to raise taxes by 100,000, which probably isn't gonna kill
Yeah.
them. Spread out over all the residents. However, if they choose option one and do nothing, that $300,000 reduces, goes to the general fund to reduce.
If we do nothing, that $300,000 is none of our business. That's outside of our purview. That's not, it's not our money. Either. So it's not gonna be up to us what happens with that money.
No, we'll go into the
It,
general fund.
it will go wherever.
We don't have to say where it goes, but
That's
it's
exactly unreserved.
Well, it's not, we
Unallocated.
don't know that. So we wanna be careful what we say we know versus, it's just not, it's not an.
And right now,
So-
so $300,000
So-
isn't for the signing.
Peter.
Right.
In round numbers. What does $100,000 of expenditure do to the tax rate?
Well, just to give you an example, I don't know the exact amount, but we took $40,000 out of the unreserved fund balances last year.
Yeah,
And we reduced the tax rate to below what it was the previous year. So I don't know what was, it's, I think it was 25.1 here. I think it was 26 something and it went down to 25.14. Again, I'm guessing here. So it has a big impact on the tax rate.
So I think what.
But I think your point is good here. I'm just talking about, yeah, not assuming
so,
Yeah.
we're gonna get the.
All right,
money,
so
but We're
what-
flush with cash.
so what is our? So it's real simple, really. It's what's the assessed value of the property in the town? Divided by the.
$100,000.
Actually, the other way around.
Right.
$100,000 divided by the assessed value of the property in the town is gonna give you your
Yeah, I know
dollar
what you're saying. You can
Yeah.
figure it out down to how many cents. it's
Right,
gonna
but
actually
using,
tax.
using Peter's number, round numbers. $100,000 is gonna save you $2.50 per thousand.
About 10%, 10% of tax rate.
But it won't, but just that money move, because,
It's not, that's not ours though.
well,
Yeah.
the way it is, because you're talking about this, that going back to the general fund, which could then be used for the fund balance to bring that down.
Right.
But it has to, something has to happen for that to move.
I don't think you have to
We
worry,
have we
No,
have
that's-
to rescind the
that would
warrant
be
article.
I don't think they have to worry about that, because if we say. We picked a $400,000 option, yes. Then you are gonna pay $10 per thousand. To cover it. Now, whether it goes through the unreserved fund and back again, it's gonna come out of your pocket at some point.
I think,
My-
I think
my
you're
point
making a good point.
Is in rephrasing the question. Might be. How much would you be willing to have your taxes increase in order to improve the existing highway site? Knowing that $100,000 of improvements means this much, kind of, right?
So
So,
what we need to talk about in regard to this question is. The idea that we can do anything, we can do nothing to option 4 or whatever else the public comes up with. But one of the things that's gonna be very germane to this conversation is the idea that we could potentially do this in phases. It doesn't necessarily have to hit us all
Right.
in 1 year. The tax impact or the impact of of increased taxes could be mitigated over a period of time. That's the conversation we wanna have with people. So how do we ask the question that gets us into that conversation? Leaving that 300,000 plus whatever it is. Out of it, because again, that's not ours to spend. We can't make the assumption that the town's gonna say, you can have that money.
What if we said something like? If we were to improve the highway garage over 5 years. Would it be acceptable for you? To you, for your taxes to go up 50 cents a thousand, $1 a thousand, $2 a
I
thousand,
think you've got the
$3 a
nail on the
thousand?
head, and we can
Think
easily,
just give them options.
and we can easily just do a spreadsheet and show that. We can just use this year's tax, the cumulative tax rate, or the accumulation of the taxes required for operating expenses, forget about the warrant articles for the time being. And we can just show, I mean, the CIP committee does this. They look at all the expenses we have to replace equipment, and they have graphs that show how it affects, not tax rate, but it shows expenses.
But it's-
So we
it's
can we can easily show if we have $100,000 expense, this is what it would cost us over 3 years.
But
So
it's a simple number.
yeah,
It's not a spreadsheet or anything like that. There is the assessed value of the property divided by, or the amount you want to spend divided by the assessed value of the property, and that's dollars per thousand.
I didn't know that was the calculation. I didn't know where that.
Yeah,
calculation-
that's all there is to
Is
that.
that the state, is that the
Your
calculation?
taxes are based
Well,
on
it's simple
your
math.
assessed value
That's-
the tax rate.
It's not state, that's.
Well, no, that's the expense, but I didn't know how they
That's-
calculated it.
Yeah.
So the highway
if I
garage
have-
would be a town expense. Right, and you're close, I think, I don't think you can say over 5 years unless you're gonna bond it, right, because you would have to pay for it in the year you execute the. The build, so it can be multiple phases. But each phase would have to be paid in that year, you can't just say, we're gonna spread it over 5 years and raise.
Right, but
taxes
the problem is the question gets too
Right.
complex. If you go, well, you're gonna spend 100 this year and 78 next year.
Yeah.
And 138 the next year.
Yeah, so what?
Nobody can
Yeah,
figure it out.
it's tough, but the.
How will this will affect your taxes?
Cause that's, ultimately, you're just trying to see where their head is.
What people think is gonna happen.
Yeah.
What's acceptable?
What's
Well,
your
what
impression?
they're gonna think,
Well, 0 is gonna be their acceptable answer.
that's their desired answer.
Right,
Would most people accept 50 cents a thousand to have the highway garage problem go away?
Yeah, I mean, here's the other thing, there, there are 4 factors to go in determining our tax rate. The town is only 1 of 4. There's Conval, there's state aid, there's county, Yeah, but that was 25, what I'm saying is, the town number is actually very small.
Yeah, but the change
so the-
in our number
Right. So-
is what we're
but-
talking
I
about.
know.
Right, that's what you're talking about.
Independent of all those other
Well,
things.
that's what I'm saying. I'm just talking about the town number. But we don't look at 25.4, the town numbers, because Conval's 78% of our budget.
Right.
So we're looking at a small, so my point is, the increase is gonna be small. I mean, relatively speaking.
Well, I think you're just trying to get a pulse of what people are thinking. this
Thinking
year,
is
and
gonna happen.
that's
Are they worried that it's?
right.
And are they going,
Be
and
that
are they going to naysay everything because of what they think is gonna happen to their
Right.
taxes? So really what we wanna know is what the public feels about what might happen. So it's what is your impression? What if, you know, because we're kind of going with the previous, you know, idea that people were told that that other site wasn't gonna cost us anything. So I think, you know, kind of sussing that out and getting people to asking the question will get people to gain a better understanding of what this could look like for us.
Can we get, and we're not gonna have a whole lot of time, or we're not gonna be able to go back and forth. So this is something where we need to come up with an equation. And I'll translate it and we'll just have to live with it.
So
Does anybody know what the assessed value
That was gonna be my
of the
question.
property in town is? I'm
Well,
looking it up.
500,000 as an assessed value.
No,
No,
It's too
my
wide.
property's
No.
probably worth twice that.
no.
The assessed, the cumulative assessed value of the,
We've got the number, because Conrad used it to,
right,
I've got it.
so if you send me that. Right, and let's say it's 10 million. Right, what's $100,000 into 10 million? A dime,
Dime.
a dime, 1,000,
10 cents a thousand, yeah. That's
Right.
very low.
so this is
a good opportunity to show that it's not gonna cost.
so,
And that's what I'm saying.
Conval, make it expensive. People don't understand that.
so if we say. What is the acceptable tax impact to fix a highway garage? We're really talking 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, 1,000.
Based on the 4 options.
Based on those
Or,
options, right?
but
Because if
if-
you go with the other plan, it's gonna be a lot more than that, but it gives them a direction that they can say, so if this is this,
It's gonna be a good projection to
Alright.
people that show up. I think it's a good idea.
So, so
um,
what is your impression of the tax impact of improvements to the town highway garage?
well, their impression is, at this point, most people, their impression is ignorance. They don't know.
Yeah, can
That's why we need to,
we state it in a way that we would present the information?
So what if I say, what is the acceptable tax impact to improve the highway garage? Is it 10 cents a thousand, 20 cents a thousand, 30 cents a thousand, or 40 cents a thousand? Or zero, and in parentheses, I don't want to improve anything.
Just put this in contrast. Conval's budget increase was $3 million to us last year. This year.
Temple's valuation in 2021 was 161 million roughly.
Holy crap,
It's like a penny.
that's the taxable evaluation?
161 million. Mhm.
Okay, so we're talking,
It's gone up.
so you got your calculator?
I've got.
Okay, hang on.
4.5 cents.
So
into percentages.
We'll see.
Okay, so what's $500,000 into whatever that is?
161 million.
It's,
Oh, that I'm not really.
it would be
Well, that would be, 20 cents.
16,100,000, right?
Right.
So your assessment per thousand, right? If I took 100,000 and I divided by 1,661, it's less than, yeah. So it would be
It's a good way to show them that this is minimal. This is
100,000
long-term.
divided by 16,100
Could you-
is 6.2. 6.2 cents.
Yeah. Yeah.
per-
I was off, but yeah.
okay,
I
so,
can get you the exact number that Conval used this year.
but the thing is, we're we don't need to be at 6.2. If we say 1, 3, 5, and 7, what's your acceptable increase? I mean, that's really what, and that's, oh, that's at $100,000 a year.
On $100,000 bill.
Dan,
it would
that's what
So it should be, so
increase everybody's
5,
taxes
10, 15,
by
and 20.
6.2 cents, I think.
So we're basing all this on the fact that if the town decides that they like the idea of keeping the highway garage here and doing one of the options,
Yeah.
that almost every option, we already have the funds available to us, we just have to be able to go, and the town has to vote to
move that
redirect
money.
them,
Right.
to redirect those funds.
Correct.
And we just, so the assembly, the people that come to the forum need to know that,
Mhm.
this might not cost a dime. We already have, we can already.
May not
access
increase your taxes.
If the town votes to
Right.
And we reallocate.
reallocate those funds.
They might say, just do a paint job, take the money, put it in the general fund and bring our taxes down and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Which would then
Right.
reduce their taxes by a grand total of what? 12 cents,
300.
12 cents a thousand. And I think that that's worth saying.
What's our town budget?
But that's doing nothing here except maybe a
What's the
paint
town
job.
budget? It was about one.
Right, and you're gonna wind up paying for it.
The additions we had at the
Yeah.
town meeting, it's a little over 1.5 million.
1.5 million would be,
And by the way, that includes the
15
warrant articles, not the operating budget, so
15,
I'd have to see the.
puts it down to around.
It was.
Yeah, but none of that matters because that's separate. What we're talking about is what we're contributing to taxes.
Right, but what I want to say also is that we don't have to do the warrant article, we can put it as a line item, highway garage, maintenance, budget, stick it right in there. Town votes for it.
Yeah.
And when you do that, the only problem with doing that is it has to be used that year. If you have a warrant article, you can, here's the other thing, you have a warrant article, we create a trust fund. And then it's an expendable trust fund, it never ends.
Well,
You can pull it out whenever you
Okay,
want to.
let's cross,
That's a,
let's
probably a
cross that bridge after we see what people think. So
So
are we okay with my proposal on the word, not on the idea?
the question was the wording on your, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we gotta refine the wording, but is it something along the lines of?
So 100,000 might be 37 cents ish.
Okay, and
But the way we're looking at this plan is, so we've talked about environmental.
Yeah.
You have a question for environmental, question about
can I
aesthetics,
get, well,
question about.
what's that, what's the
tax
assessed value?
Tax, parking,
I'm still,
Yeah, what's the
and,
assessed value?
safety,
Safety, yeah.
right? And those are all the key bullet points, and so you nailed it, I don't think you missed anything.
No, I don't think so either.
So.
I'm sorry.
What's the total assessed value?
100, roughly 161 million as of 2021.
It's higher.
End of
It's gonna go up,
2021.
yeah.
Okay, but that's close enough. And
It's a starting point.
All right, so just a little tweak on that. I feel like we're kind of running in circles here.
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what $100,000 translates to. Well, I can figure,
Well, Peter, you said there's a formulation that we, like, you could pull something off the CIP that would show how that.
Well, they just have a graph where they show that they know that they have to replace this much equipment over the next 10 years. And so they have a graph, this piece of equipment, and shows the line and how it affects the budget and the expenses. It's not, doesn't really tie to the tax rate or anything like that.
No.
It just shows the potential that the town can be facing.
Over
As
in that period of time.
replacing the skid lights.
And we don't
The
buy a
truck
fire,
has to be, yeah.
we don't buy a fire truck and a grader in the same year, or even within the same several years.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's spread out.
Yeah.
It's really,
It's like we do with our own budget, you're
Yeah.
right. You don't have two brand new cars and a brand new pool back here all the same year.
And know that the municipal
It's spread
assessment,
about over a decade.
the municipal assessment in 21 was $5.63 per thousand. Okay. So,
this goes to show you.
Right.
$25 is the final in this condo.
and
20-something.
and the local education.
Yeah.
Where is that? I lost my line. 563. The local education was 1496. in 2021, and it's done nothing but go up.
There's a county.
And there's a county and a state that are a buck for the county and $1.80 for the state.
We've been frugal as a town, our
Unbelievable.
people in charge, selectmen and down,
But
they've done a good job and not utilize, the fund balance, you shouldn't drain the whole fund balance, but they've used enough to help.
So $100,000,
$5.63 is 1.5 million,
Which is of your budget.
Yep.
As far as I understand.
then 100,000 is
62 cents exactly,
is
almost exactly.
30 some.
It's 62 cents. 62 cents per thousand times 161,000. Right, is 100,000. Do 62 cents. That's dollars per thousand times 161,000. You'll come up with 100,000.
So if
We
we
can figure
did,
that out later, we don't.
Because I always do it
I think
backwards
it'd be
because
a
it's
good
clear.
idea to make a
So it's,
presentation. This is expected, here's the impact next year. I think it would open people's eyes. So, yeah, just when you look at the last 10 years of the town budget, we're actually paying less now, inflation adjusted, than we were 10 years ago. It's amazing what they've done. But 1.4, 1.3, 1.4. This year, we had the highest. Over the last 5 years, this last year, the highest dollar increase
62 cents
and the highest percentage increase.
62 cents per thousand.
161
000.
0 0 divided by 1,000. 161.
Lately, we have.
Yeah.
Times 62 cents a thousand
Times 0.62.
equals 100,000.
Yep, okay.
So $100,000
It's off by-
spend is 62 cents a thousand for people.
A little over half a buck.
For $15, yeah. 15.
So what are your concerns about the tax impact of improvements? So if we say, what is the acceptable tax impact to you for improving the garage? 0, 50 cents, a buck, $1.50.
It's gonna be a big topic. It's gonna be one of the main key
Right.
Discussions.
How about
I would
something-
imagine.
how about something like, instead of throwing- how about something like, given what we know about the tax impact, what are your concerns? Then you can say, this is what we know.
But you're not telling what the tax impact is.
No,
Okay,
but that's-
I'm just saying, what do you think? They don't know, because they didn't got all the data. But if we say, hey, you know,
How many people know what their tax rate is?
what's that?
How many people know what their tax rate is walking into this meeting unprepared? I
yeah,
mean, look at how long we talked about.
They probably don't.
Right.
They know if they pay 5,000 or 10,000. They know what they don't know what the rate is and how much of it is the school and how much is the, yeah.
Right, so
A
we
lot of people don't.
I think we have to inform them on what our proposed impact is.
So we.
But if you go, be careful, sorry, Jimmy, that's a real important thing. For sound like my grandfather, my dad now. I'm telling you that a lot of people in charge who have gotten what they wanted over the years, expensive things, have used that. Well, it's the school is $20 per thousand, the town's over 4.7.
Yeah, that's the one.
So we're gonna bring us up to 5.25. Well, it's not the way you run a budget. It's not the way you do it. So that $400,000 item is not gonna be that big of a deal.
No,
It's not how you do it, but they sell it. They have in the past, I would say certain people have done this and sold. The idea that a big purchase for the town isn't a big deal.
so if you look at,
But that's what happened.
Because the schools would really all
so
know.
we think that we need to not do that, because, I mean, are you saying that that's not an effective way to?
so I think if you had each of
Communicate
the
that.
options.
Well, I don't know. That's my, I think that
You gotta be careful.
you can be careful.
The
because-
argument that people have used, yeah, I see what you're
Forget the argument of this versus the school. If you tell them, look, each of these options,
This
Is-
is actually tax rate.
it costs this much, and that option will cost you this much in cents per thousand over the entire period that we're gonna do this in, right?
Mhm.
Not per year, but total over the entire period.
Give them the floor, let them
So
look at
if
it.
you got a $100,000 option up here, it's gonna cost you 62 cents per thousand of assessed value.
The problem is we get into this though, is what Bruce, I mean, we were basically talking about it, but the $300,000 that's sitting there. That's all based on the assumption that we can get it.
Well, that's why,
No, it's not a matter, it just goes in the.
I wouldn't, and I'd say, and there is a potential
Yeah.
of offsetting that, which would reduce your taxes by this much
Right.
over that same period.
It's gonna take a warrant article,
It would takes more.
majority goes down,
You have to rescind.
it's basically rescinding,
And
right?
then create another warrant article to get the money.
That can be done.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you-
Yeah.
Kind of explaining how the tax rate is set, like, I know you know it, you feel. Let's say somebody knows nothing about how tax rates are, would you feel comfortable talking about that and saying? You know, kind of giving a brief overview, this is how taxes work in a town. You have an assessed value, your tax rate is this. Your property taxes are based on your assessed value times your tax rate. Would you feel comfortable kind of presenting that information so people know where we're starting from? Does that make sense? So that people have an understanding of,
So
We're gonna drill down.
so when we're talking about 62 cents per thousand. They're gonna already understand that. It's 62 cents per thousand of your assessed value. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm just using that as a reference.
62 cents per thousand,
62 cents per thousand up to $100,000.
with that,
But it is,
62 cents per thousand,
But it is a lot.
get you 100,000.
the math, I checked again, your numbers were right, it was 6 cents.
Was it?
Yeah, when you divided the thousand, when you divided 16,500, 16,500.
Go back.
1,000 divided by 16,500 is 0.06.
So
161
if you take 62 cents per thousand,
Mhm.
which is what I think it is,
million.
times 161,000 thousands is 62 cents times 161,000. And that points up to 100,000. It is 62 cents. There's no doubt in my mind.
62 cents, that means on ours, say we're valued at 10,000. That means I'm gonna pay $620 extra for,
$10,000.
Pay $6.20.
No,
If you-
you're valued at 10,000? So
no,
62
my
cents.
tax is currently 10
Yeah, no, what's your assessed value of your house?
grand. We're in the low fours, mid fours.
400,000?
Yeah, 450.
So you would say
So 450 times
62
62
times
cents, $200 to $300.
$300.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
a lot.
what
Yeah.
your tax rate.
Oh,
is.
okay. I still, we're gonna check the math. We're gonna check the math. I don't think it's that much.
I'm not
I
putting the
know it.
numbers in these ones.
What?
I'm not putting the numbers in the notes.
Yeah.
We're probably-
Yeah.
We're.
Yeah.
62 cents per thousand, if it's some number per thousand. So you do, we're simply times by how many thousand?
Back up. The town is valued at 165,000.
160.
That's what they tried to do.
160
million.
Selling the.
Right, so it's 160,
165 million divided by,
no, 165,000. Because it's cents per thousand,
Right.
so it's 165,000 times 62 cents. And I did 161,000. And you'll wind up at 100,000.
Well. I guess if we have time.
Yeah.
So-
If you guys.
So what do we,
And
So-
usually you bond those things, right? And where you do a trust fund to pay for
Well,
them.
that's what I'm
And it kind of,
So-
you're taxed over
We
time.
have a $250,000 dump truck ticket that we just bought last year.
Right, but you
But
did that over.
That didn't do
under
that for
trust
taxes
fund.
because we had a trust.
They
fund.
did it over time.
That's right.
Right.
Exactly.
so, well, and that's the thing, it's 62 cents per thousand. But if it's over 5 years.
Yeah.
Now you're down to 12 cents a thousand.
Right.
Over 5 years.
yeah, but when you take that money out and put it in a trust fund, it happens in 1 year.
Not necessarily. You can establish a trust fund for the construction of the improvement of the highway garage.
And put
And-
25,000.
and fund it.
Warrant. Well, okay, I'm just saying.
$20,000 per year for 5 years, you get your
Or you
100,000.
can just plan on warrant.
And then
every year.
you
Yeah.
pull the trigger and do the construction.
Well,
on that
it's,
fifth year.
it's the tax
gotta pay for it.
impact and
A
here.
little old fashioned,
Be fair.
save for what you want.
All right, can we get back on track?
Suggest that maybe we need to back off from actually offering numbers.
Well, I'm wondering if, like you said, Matt explains the tax rate. And you can verbally get into, there's $300,000 sitting in a highway garage mobile trust fund, move the garage trust fund. That could be moved over if you guys wanted to.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah,
And
and then. Slightly reword this question, because I think we should walk through these questions anyway. Before people write them. Before they.
So I think, you know, that putting the thought in people's head that there are two ways to pay for this. Through a trust fund where we save before we buy. Or a one-time increase to your tax rates, right?
Or we vote on each phase as we do it.
And vote on each phase as you do it, because they doesn't have to all be done at once. So there are two ways that you can approach this, right? And to minimize the tax impact. Right?
I wouldn't want to make it too complex.
Yeah.
Well, but if Matt explains how we. Calculate the tax rate. And then we say there are other ways to pay for this. There might be grants available, but we're not counting on them. There is $300,000 in a trust fund to move the highway garage. There could be, if you guys voted for it, diverted to this. That'll save it. It can be done over multiple years if we lay out a plan, which will minimize the tax impact. And if things go south, you know, the economy really goes to shit, you can stop doing that plan. And then.
Wait, if the economy really goes to shit, you mean it's not there now?
Oh, wait.
I think
he's talking like a big.
as from a layman's point of view, I don't think we want to get too far into the weeds on that,
Yeah.
on using numbers. I
Yeah.
think we need to
There
keep
you
it. Keep it
Layman's
simple,
terms.
stupid, like, you know, there is money that's in an expendable trust fund right now that cannot be spent for what it was originally intended. There is a possibility that that money could be reallocated to a different project. The
Well,
tax
how many-
impact.
how
would be
many-
minimal.
Let's do this.
Making it simple and saying, how much would your household be willing to contribute through taxes to the construction of the highway garage over its lifetime?
So.
$0 to $50, $50
To
to
$100.
$200,
That might be.
200, 500,
Yeah.
you know,
And
500 to
if nothing
1,000.
else, that would give us the temperature of
Yeah.
the taxpayers. Is this something that you want to commit to, or you're just not doing that?
Without trying to explain rates,
Without
because it
getting into the
is,
weeds, yeah,
there are so many
variables. If we
ways to
change,
do it.
We're
that
gonna
it-
get
yeah,
screwed because
you-
if we say something that's not right.
I think I'd like
Lost
to make, I'd like
credibility.
to make a motion. That we rearrange this in a way so that we talk about the environmental and then the aesthetics. And then we talk about parking.
Can we do,
And then we talk about safety and move the tax impact down to second to last.
okay, can I ask something? Can we fix the wording of this? And then just
Oh, okay.
so that I can
Yeah.
not get all confused.
Focus on the wording. right?
Let's fix the wording of that question, assuming that Matt's gonna
If you
explain.
make a motion, we gotta vote on it rather than just renumbering them and then.
I was gonna say, why does there have
and
to
then
be a
Well,
motion?
all it is-
I didn't get a second, so.
Yeah,
It's just a thing.
All right, we're gonna be here all night if we don't. Can you help me fix it?
so
Over the life of,
what do you think about that last suggestion? Is that a better way?
I think
to
it's a
go
great
than
way.
talking about? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I would say, how much would your household through taxes,
okay, hang on, over the life of the highway garage project.
right?
How
How
much
much
would-
would your household through taxes be willing to contribute, right? to
He's
these.
willing to contribute through taxes.
On a one, well, also, that's a one, if I figure out that way, if I pay it all in a year, it's a one-time
I think
payment.
it's, I think it's questionable.
May or may not be.
I don't know what.
Well, Jim asked it in perfect general terms, over the life of the project. How much would you be willing to contribute?
We're not gonna commit to it being a one or many or phased or whatever, right?
And keep in mind, you're gonna explain with the pictures,
Right. The
the
phasing.
phased approach and everything like that, and you can pound home that there's money sitting there that can't be spent and blah, blah, blah. Then Matt pounds it again with explaining the taxes, and oh, by the way, there's this money. And then we ask this question.
Peter, can you get the exact number that is in those expendable trust funds that it's not?
Yeah.
Okay,
So we have that, we don't,
And I mean,
Well,
my basic thoughts on the breakdown would be like 0 to 50, 50 to 250. 250 to 500, 500 to 1,000 over the. Right, does that, and if everybody said, I'll go in the 500 to 1,000 realm with 500 households in town, it's $500,000. It's more than enough to do any of the projects, right?
yeah, and then. Yeah, we probably would need it anyways.
so now, can we get back to, are we good with that question?
Yes, over the life,
Sure.
the life of the project, how much would your household be willing to contribute through taxes to
Yeah,
improving the highway,
The current location.
the current highway garage to improve?
Okay, here's the exact wording I put down, and if nobody corrects me, that's what I'll go with. Over the life of the highway garage project, how much would your household be willing to contribute through taxes? $0 to $50, 51 to 250, 251 to 500, 501 to 1,000. You good with that?
Is that the end of the discussion, or would we then,
We would then discuss.
in discussion, give them information that we?
Oh, no, you gotta give them the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we want,
Well,
So-
if they wanted to, they might not want to discuss it.
so can we number this? Which one should be first? Which question should be asked first?
I think you're fine on the first, the second,
Okay.
I
well,
think moving the tax.
Can we do
question to
one,
second
can we
to
do one
last.
at a time?
Yep, so.
Are we good that the first one's first?
Yeah.
Are we good the second one's second?
Yes.
Okay,
Actually, you have two how important Rs that could easily move up first. And then you've got the environmental and the safety that kind of go together, and then your tax.
so
and
you're
then
thinking number
everything
2 is
else.
1?
I would say that number 2 is 1,
Are we okay with that?
Yep, that's fine.
number
Well, hang on.
4 would be
Okay,
2,
Okay, number 4 is 2, okay?
The parking,
right?
Yep.
Mhm. Then number 1 would be 3,
Yeah,
and then
number last
6
would be 4,
Oh,
taxes would be
Yeah.
5,
yeah, there you go.
and
whatever.
other thoughts 6.
Okay,
I second your motion to do that order.
all in favor? Okay, so the order will be, how important is the aesthetics of the highway garage? How important is additional parking around town hall? If more is needed, how many additional spaces? Given that we could transition to green hydraulic fluids in town equipment and no maintenance fluids are stored on site, what are your concerns about the environmental impact of the current site? What, if anything, do you feel is a safety issue with the current site? Over the life of the highway garage project, how much would your household be willing to contribute through taxes? 0 to 50, 51 to 250, 51 to 500, 500 to 1,000. And what other thoughts would you have to share on the highway garage? We're good with that? So I will type it up and have a pile of them ready for that Thursday.
Can you send it to us?
I will.
Yeah.
Can I just make one more suggestion? How important, on the 2 how important questions, should we have a very important to not at all important options? Or do we want to just let them write it out?
So they can want them to hand these back to us?
Do we want them to hand them back to us or not?
Oh, I would like to have something in writing to back up.
That would be interesting. Ask them to-
Have a pile of
With their
pens,
money.
pile of pens.
Yeah.
Ooh, how do we have something to write up? Tables,
Well,
set
yeah,
of tables.
Yeah, and we can have that in just a basket. Anonymous basket, but I think just giving them the option of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you know, very important. Somewhat important, whatever, you know, whatever those two.
You wanna do 1 to 5?
In addition to the discussion, or if they just have a way of indicating.
One to fives.
Yeah. And I think, you know, that would be very telling, and then we wouldn't have to try to figure out what people are thinking if they're writing a sentence, you know, they're either gonna say important or it's not.
Are we recording this one?
So,
Probably should.
5, 1 is not. 5 is important, and I'll leave room for comments on it.
3,
Yeah.
neutral.
Don't care.
So for the minutes, I put in order of questions, aesthetics, parking, environment, safety, taxes, and other thoughts.
Yes.
Do you want to send me a cleaned up one of those and I can attach, do we attach it to that and then I can send it to the?
Sure.
Got your mail?
And then
Yeah.
you have said we want to bring, have pens, one table set up. And I believe you're also bringing plastic and dots.
So what I did, I got dots.
Okay.
And I just brought his sheets into work and stretch wrap around them a couple times. It ain't beautiful, but it's not too wrinkly. Okay, so
I was just thinking you should put simple highway draw.
Too late.
my. Beautiful, so.
I didn't make it for drink, so.
Okay. I
It's a
thought,
general size postcard, so.
I
it's not
thought of
even-
something else, that this may just go in the trash. Although I was creating this, I thought of something else.
Wait,
Can we,
yeah.
the,
let's get that
the
around.
mailing piece?
Oh. Okay,
So we approved it to go out last week, so.
yeah, it's,
Yeah.
proof not for reprint, it's already been reprinted.
And then these are for.
For our
Dan,
info,
so-
right?
You put one up in the store yet?
No,
Oh, you're not gonna
bring
get
it
there
to let
before it
you approve
closes,
it Before I,
So the way that the meeting minutes said was that if we didn't have time, you were good, but we are showing it, so. We're gonna do an official vote to say, yes, we approve it.
But it's already been sent.
Did you
so-
send it out?
Oh, you already sent it.
You already
Okay.
sent it.
I motion we approve it.
When was it sent? When was, I'll just follow, because of the meeting.
actually, I have the invoice right here. I ordered it on 5/28.
Okay, so how do we get that paid?
On 5/28.
You guys don't know how these committees work.
We get it to Peter,
Okay.
the invoice.
So this is the invoice for the mail
It's been mailed.
that we approved at the last meeting.
Yeah, I got.
Did they give you an estimate as to when it would mail?
Yeah, it'll be in people's mailboxes.
I don't.
7 to 10 days from.
So we good with all that?
Yeah, I just want to close up the
Okay,
meeting
and then,
minutes.
I got one more curveball.
are we okay with the poster to hang up around town, or does anybody want any changes on that?
No, what? I told you when I saw it, I thought it was awesome.
I think you're hitting these in our questions already.
Well, this is a different version, and that's why I said this may wind up going in the trash.
Yeah, I prefer the asking the question.
Okay, then throw them out. When I was creating this, that other version came to mind. You know, if you have 5 votes, vote, because this is giving feedback, but it's not giving any relative importance.
Can we make it bigger?
The whole point of this is saying, I care, I don't care. You got 5 or 10 or whatever vote.
So,
I,
I mean, you could easily ask people to rank the relative importance of the questions if they're being asked too.
Well, and the
Right.
question comes up, do we even care?
Yeah.
And like I said, when I started, these can go right in the trash as far as I'm concerned. It's just a way,
Okay.
when I was doing this, I thought of that alternative.
So what is this for?
It may be, it sounds like it's for nothing, but it's an alternative way that I was thinking as I'm typing this.
Yeah.
We're not ranking importance. We're getting feedback, but we're not ranking importance, and here is a more simplistic version of that. But I think we ultimately get what we want with this.
Right, based on the conversation.
So I would say we just toss this.
Okay.
Which I'm glad to do if you guys want to do.
Nice job.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other? I don't have.
I believe we need another motion at some point.
Somebody want to
You want
motion to
to?
adjourn?
We good? You better make a motion.
Can't wait. And on that, when, we can use the PowerPoint presentation that you did.
Yeah,
We can put that up on the screen for the
Yeah.
public forum.
I intended to use it and talk to it.
If During,
Yeah.
okay, during the.
Yeah.
And you know how to
during the
do that.
presentation.
Oh, you want me to get it? So the question
Yeah.
is, you know how to do that, right?
That's.
Because
We'll have to have a laptop. I
This is a challenge to me. So,
I think we will have to have a
Laptop.
laptop for that.
We tried
I
laptops.
do not.
okay.
I have a
Pretty easy. I don't know how to do it, but. there's a-
So if you,
there's a
if you
plug right in
send
the
me
back
your
of the thing
presentation,
On the side, where you can plug your.
Right.
We're gonna be out there.
Well, then we have
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Yeah.
So I think there's.
I could download it and put it on.
You want to touch base with Dan and see if he knows how to do it?
Danny knows how.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we, okay, so two questions. Do we want to zoom it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will set up the Zoom for that. We already have.
Yeah. Check the town hall, check the town website.
What's the other question?
Yeah.
Yeah, true question.
Oh, do we want to do it like a rehearsal? Do we want to get together
I think it's hard to reverse
seven-
it.
7 to 9? I'll get the room from like 6.
We could go early.
Yeah.
Make sure the PowerPoint works.
Do we want, do we want to break it down by, is there somebody,
Yeah, who's the,
What am I trying to say?
who's the MC,
So-
who's the.
right, so Jim's gonna do the presentation basically that he did at town meeting. So
Yes.
anybody who didn't go to town meeting is gonna get that presentation that they didn't get. So do we want to each take a question? One of the questions and address it? Or do we just want one of us to do the whole thing? Or what, how do we want to, I mean, we don't want to get there and say. here's
Well,
your sheet.
1, 2, 3, and 4 are pretty vanilla.
Well, you're gonna MC it as chair,
Yeah.
right?
So I can do 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Tim's gonna have to-
Let you do the taxes, and then
This is
the last is almost you know,
Yeah.
you just take the last 2. And by the way, tell us if you want anything else.
I think we'll be,
We can raise.
it'll be,
It's good.
so will anyone show up?
Yeah, really.
That's exactly.
Well, yeah, I think there was enough interest.
Well, but I think
It
that's-
wouldn't
that-
surprise me
that would
either
also
way,
be very
but I
telling,
hope.
I think.
Anybody still care about getting it broadcast to the town?
Oh, that's what I just asked.
Yeah, no,
At this point, I'll put it on Zoom.
what about the sign out front? Who was in charge of that?
Danny, I think.
Was that gonna be Danny? Cause that should probably go now. Right away.
Yeah.
All right, and
Getting this on the temple Facebook pages.
I'll put the, I'll
So we.
JPEG this and put this
Yeah,
on
we
the
gotta-
temple Facebook page,
official
and I'll
email
send a
to
copy to
the
Heidi
town.
so she can attach it to that.
Yeah, Carol,
And it, so that Carol can put it on.
Carol does that for anybody that gets anything, you sign up for the highway garage kids.
Yeah, but you know, for instance, you, like, the rec commission, they sent out a special email saying this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
We should ask Carol to send out an email,
Oh,
a form to the study of the highway
you
garage.
wanna do me a favor and nudge me with that? I know you sent me one, but it's in my, lost in my email somewhere.
yeah,
Um,
okay, well, I'll send.
I'll
it to
send
you,
that
and
to-
I'll send it to Heidi so that she can put it in the minutes and then you can send it to Carol.
Yeah,
And
and with the Zoom meeting and everything, I'll just do
Yeah.
all. of one.
What do you want Dan to put on the sign?
Um, highway garage study group public forum,
Good.
June 13th,
We can get it
7
all on there.
PM here.
Highway Garage Forum.
Yeah, there you go, even better.
Good.
Because we only have so many letters.
So I'll go see Dan right now and make sure that he's gonna do that.
Where's the sign going?
Right up front.
Along.
Ooh, the library sign. along.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll-
Front of the money.
So are we going early?
Outside the road, also.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the room from 6 o'clock. I would suggest we all show up around 6:30.
Which means that's in-
Car show Monday,
This coming Monday?
3 days before this thing.
Okay,
Good.
well, then we should make sure we have.
Well, Danny will be there.
Maybe have a bunch of flyers.
Yeah, yeah, but Jim, how many people, there are people from out of town who go to that too, though, right?
Oh,
That's not just Temple.
If they would just not be interested.
yeah, it wouldn't bother.
Yeah, okay, and,
Just need a big sandwich sign, somebody to walk back and forth.
okay, and I'll get these hung up at town hall. Mail, post office, store, library, Birchwood, where else?
See if they'll put it at Maple Station.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
Maple Station, do they have a bulletin board?
I don't know, but.
I know that they
I
did.
think right around the corner.
Well, they care.
No, I see.
They
A
right
lot of
on.
traffic there, a lot of people, yeah, it's true. Yeah, we got this kind of the other store in town.
Yeah.
True.
So we're not gonna have any nibbles or anything like that, this thing. No water.
Oh, didn't somebody say?
Yeah, it's gonna be refreshment served. We need to get some bottled water, can we all throw together a plate of cookies or brownies or something?
Yeah.
I
Very
don't-
sweet
Or
talk.
candy.
Volunteer down for that.
I'll bring candy.
You what?
All right.
I'll bring candy.
That'll donate.
Great candy. All right, I'll do some cookies and brownies.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, look at you guys.
You know, if you make hash browns, you make it way more interesting, responses.
That's about,
We're still recording. Good.
the store like to sell us bottled water, or do we wanna try and get it cheaper?
We can get a donation.